Hi, and welcome to Global Beehive interviews today with Filip Ekstrand. We're very happy that you have taken the time to participate in this interview, and we're very much looking forward to learning more about your experience and expertise. So, Filip, give us a little bit of a background about yourself and where you come from.
Okay, I am my degree is in a Master of Science from the Royal Institute of Technology. I'm also an officer in the Army Reserve in Sweden. During 30 years, I have been working in the sort of intersection between management consultancy and IT in different matters. And lately, I've always worked close to the private equity sector. I've been working with portfolio companies to create IT strategies, helping to select ERP and financial control systems. Last year, I spent entirely in the Netherlands, helping an EQT company selecting a financial control and procurement system. I have also advised private equity firms in doing the IT part of due diligence, meaning if we buy this company, how much effort and how much money will we need to invest in getting the IT in shape. Well, that's about it. And besides that, I play veteran ice hockey and sing in a choir.
Nice. That sounds wonderful. That sounds wonderful.
What made you get into that field of into that industry? Was
private
something
equity?
Special? Yeah.
I just stumbled over the guy who more or less created private equity in the Nordics, which is Mikael Ahlström, who founded Procuritas. But since then, I worked with firms like EQT, Triton, Nordic Capital, all of them. Also a bunch in London. For example, on Thursday, I will meet Simon.
The question I think we asked was, how you came interested in working with private equity, and what challenges you see in that area.
What I love working with private equity, and the reason is that it's extremely result focused, and there is a minimum of politics. And now we'll spend first we got to look at do we want to buy this company, and if we do buy it, what is the agenda for 3 to 4 years to come to make this a much more valuable investment, and that mindset suits me perfectly.
All right. So when you're working with a company in terms of IT projects, right? And let's say a company, a smaller company is being integrated into a bigger company that you're working with, then you have to start the IT project from the beginning, especially when it comes to supplier management. Is that something where you find a lot of hiccups when it comes to
Well, let me give you 2 examples. Last year, I worked entirely with a company that EQT, a Swedish private equity firm, bought in the Netherlands. They bought a dentist and dental hygiene chain with 200 clinics, 160 of which in the Netherlands. And as CFO, they appointed an old friend of mine from another IT company. And EQT, the owners, they said they had a turnover of 350 million euros. And the assignment was grow from 200 to 1,000 clinics. And they had clinics in the Netherlands, but also in 5 other EU companies, in Thailand, Hong Kong, and China. And my friend, the CFO guy, he said, this cannot be done if we don't start with establishing common processes for financial control and purchasing, and acquire a common financial control and purchasing IT solution. Well, sounds fine, said ITT, and then he called me. So what I did last year was facilitating the growth from 200 to 1,000 clinics. I managed to establish common process for purchasing and common process for financial control. I did a short list of potential IT vendors. I managed the requirement specification, and finally we acquired a solution which is now being rolled out. That's one typical assignment, and another will be I'd worked a lot with it's called carve out. A private equity firm buys a part of a large group, such as the heat exchanger part of a GEA group in Germany. What I then do is to okay, how do we establish an IT platform of this company on its own and leave the large group that we were formerly a part of. And again, I am not a programmer. What I can do is to assist in articulating the strategy, what vendors should we talk to, and how do we get this the project running.
Sounds really interesting. And I think that how do you think that this private equity company, especially when it comes to integrating IT, has been affected by, for example, COVID-19? Has there been I hear in many cases there have been increase in mergers and acquisition during the last 6 months due to the COVID-19. Is that your view as well?
Yeah, it sure is. And what it's all about is that it's an excellent opportunity to take a white sheet of paper. How do we approach IT in this newly bought the company, and how can we get away with the older, extremely costly and a legacy IT environments? That's what I really like to work with. You will get better IT for a third of the cost.
Yes, definitely. I can imagine. But what if you see for the future then? I mean, if you look at the merger and acquisition business and the involvement of IT and digital in this area, what do you see for the future? Is it something that will continue to grow? And
oh yes,
will there be, or will there be other challenges going forward? You see, when we
what will be sorry?
What will there be other types of challenges going forward? If you look in a little bit in the future.
Well, it is. I mean, a private equity firm or anybody investor, they buy a company, and there is certainly a possibility to get better IT support for a fraction of the cost. That's exactly where I want to be. And I mean, I have a fairly good overview. Okay, for this company, the ERP packages that can work is probably this and this and this, and the vendors we should talk to is this and this. And I see there will be a lot of that kind of business in the years to come.
Yeah, and I can imagine the cloud services and other things will be quite useful in the area.
Sure.
Because it can be easier to integrate, for example, in that sense.
Nothing else is being bought now. This dental chain bought the cloud-based Dynamics 365, which you nowadays, I mean, you don't want to have your own servers or own infrastructure. You buy this as a service. And you know that for a known cost for each, if I buy a new dentist clinic with 50 dentists, I know that the additional cost to integrate it will be so and so. I don't need to buy a new server for 20,000 euros.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a big advantage to do it in that way.
I'd be happy to. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's like water or electricity or heating in your home. You want to know what does it cost to upgrade, or well, things like that. I'll be happy to send you maybe you read some of my articles, but the whole thing is to some sort of roadmap. This is where the company wants to be IT-wise 3 years from now.
Yeah.
This is where the company stands now.
Yeah.
What is the marching order that takes us from the as-is position to the to-be position, and what vendors is it interesting to talk to make it happen? That's my expertise.
Yeah, excellent. If you were to give advice to private equity owners or managers about how to manage or address merger and acquisition, especially from a digital perspective, if you have 3 different advice you would give them, what would that be?
The first would be you are paying way too much for IT.
Yeah. That's a good one.
And the second is, does your current IT environment really support your business processes in the new digital life? And the third would be, is it user friendly? Work on those 3 things.
Yeah. Excellent. I like the final thing there about being user friendly. I think that is sort of the key here. That's to get things to work. Do you have any?
A good user is a dead user. That doesn't work anymore. I mean, for the new generation of people coming into work now, used to iPhones and H&M web shop, which, by the way, I was part of designing. Why is it that it's so much more complicated to use the financial control system where I work than buying clothes at H&M or Zara or whoever? And the simple answer is there is no reason. It should be as simple.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
Anyway, so do you have any last remarks you want to share with the audience? Anything else you want to think would be interesting to take up here?
Well, maybe also I've been working a lot with business intelligence. That's, by the way, how we got into H&M. And again, not as programmer, but having workshops. What are the most important KPIs and metrics for this company to manage in the right way, and how do we collect and store the data to get it? That's another area I work a lot with. Otherwise, I think I've said the most.
Yeah, definitely. It's been really interesting discussion. I really like you sharing your war stories and experience here, especially in the private equity area. And I can imagine that this will be something that will be expanding and accelerating in the future. And I am really happy that you gave us some insights to that and the challenges that you are facing and addressing at the moment. And we are very happy to use the Beehive expert and that you are sharing this articles with.
And I have a lot of more war stories if you want to hear.
Yeah, well, I think we'll do a separate interview only with war stories. When it comes to
well, thanks a lot. Nice to talk to you guys. Let's keep in touch.
Thank you so much, Filip.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, sure. Bye-bye.